Alright, please excuse the messy garage. Today we will be draining the transmission fluid and also changing the transaxles on both sides of this 2002 Saturn SL2 with a manual transmission. This should work with light cars, other S-Series vehicles with a manual transmission. So first things first, got to jack it up and get the wheels off. Alright, so after you get it up in the air, you're going to want to get underneath there and drain all the transmission fluid out of this. Okay, so the drain plug for this car is right underneath here. It's right where that wrench is, and it's a 15 millimeter. Alright, once you get the plug out, let it all drain out. Don't be stupid like me. Anticipate the arc there in that drain. Alright, so now you're going to want to get a big ugly wrench, put it on that socket, or that bolt there, and break the axle bolt off. We're going to take this off and pull this plastic shield out from underneath here just so that we can get a better look of everything. Alright, so we got that shield out of the way so that we can see everything in there. We've got a lot of noise coming from this inner part here, or that inner CV boot, so that's why we're replacing on this end. So what we're going to do now, we're going to put this nut back on there just barely, and then we're going to get a hammer and hit it right there to knock it loose from the knuckle. Alright, so we've hit it, we've got this knocked loose, as you can see there, the movement it's got. Well, it's still going to need probably another hit. Next, we're going to take the tie rod end off, and hopefully get this whole knuckle here to turn beyond what it's supposed to, so that we can get this part on out of the back of the knuckle. Alright, so got some WD-40 on there, broke this bolt loose as you can see. So now we got to get it off. I also got these bolts loose just in case I have to take those off. I'm praying I don't, but well, we'll just have to see as it goes on here. A lot of times people will get a pickle fork in here. I find that it just tears up the boot on the tie rod end or ball joint or whatever you're working on. But what I've done in the past that I've had lots of success with is if you hit this side of the knuckle, so probably about right there where my glove or my finger is hitting the part where the tie rod end goes into the knuckle. So if you hit that hard enough with a hammer a few times, the whole thing will just come right out. Alright, so I probably hit it about 3 or 4 times. You can see where it's dropped out now, and if I can get this on there, then you'll see that the tie rod end will come right out here, just nicely. Come on now. Never-ending threads, I guess. Oh, man. I'm sure many of you can relate with me when I say nothing ever is a straight shot. So I ended that last video with me with the ratchet on there, trying to get it off, because when you spin this centerpiece, the actual thread there, is spinning with the bolt, and so you're not, wasn't able to get it off. So what I'm going to do is put one of these on there. It's a 8 millimeter. I'm going to hold the tie rod in still, and back off. Oh, we'll back it off, and then back off the nut. Look, guys, success, finally. Alright guys, so my fears have been realized. Can't get this out, even with all the extra turn that we've got in there. It's looking like we're gonna have to take this off. Those of you with power tools, hope you enjoy them. For the rest of us, it is, well, even with those with the power tools, it's a 21. Alright guys, that actually wasn't that bad. Took about 2 or 3 minutes to get both those bolts off. Hopefully you don't live in Michigan or somewhere where the rust is really bad, and I hope it takes you, 2 minutes or less to get these off as well. So now we're just gonna, hit these with a hammer and just knock them out. So, oh, don't lose those. You're gonna want those washers. There, remember that they went on the nut side. Alright, so once you get those out, you can pull the whole thing forward. As you do so, be mindful of your brake fluid line. You don't want to put too much tension or stress on that, but you are going to have to pull down on this, and do, and have to strongly persuade this to come out. Alright guys, we're now underneath the car, and if you go look over here, this is where it needs to come out. what I did was I just kind of lightly tapped this with a hammer until it kind of unlocked and popped out. Alright guys, the old one is in the middle. I had a slight panic attack because I first compared it to this one, which I thought was the passenger side, and that has a fixed spline on there, and that one doesn't, and I couldn't get that one out. But I opened the other box, and my worries were for nothing. So just comparing it, make sure you get the right part, that it's about the same size and everything, and throw it in. Alright guys, so you want to line that axle into that, I guess that, shaft or conduit is as straight as you can. And then what you're going to want to do is you want to grab this shaft and you want to jam it in there as hard as you can. So I've already got this in and locked and everything, and so now I just got to put it back together over here, same way you take it off. Alright guys, so I'm over here on the driver's side. I'm basically getting ready here to do everything that I did on the passenger side. Take these, take the those bolts off, and take the tie rod end off. I've already got that knocked out, or knocked in with the hammer there, and so yeah. All right, guys. So the top one is the one I pulled out. The bottom one is the one that we're gonna put in here. When you're pulling it out, don't be dumb like me and pull on the axle shaft itself, because if you have a torn inner boot, you might just rip it all the way apart. Also, please remember to compare your parts and everything. In this case, it looks like I pulled off the seal cap here with the axle, and I spent probably about a good 10 minutes trying to break it off the end of that axle there. I think it maybe got hot and got stuck or something, or a lot of crap fell in between there. So again, make sure that you are comparing your parts so that you don't have little things like that that get pulled off and thrown away with an old part and cause you headaches down the road. Alright guys, so I cleaned up I got that seal taken off the old part of that axle, cleaned it up a little bit and put it back in place here. As you can see, this thing was leaking all sorts of crap in here, like it looks like some grease from the boot and everything, and yeah, probably not put this in the video. Alright guys, so got the axles on, got the wheels, well, almost all the way tight. It's still floating on jacks, but we got to put our drain plug back in the transmission before we take off and drive, and so we don't blow stuff up. Okay, so where we drain or fill this, I've already got the stick out, but it's straight down here through the your brake lines and everything, and you can kind of see that silver ring where the dipstick will go through down in there and stuff. So the internet says that we want 2.5 quarts of Dex 3. The closest thing I can find is this Dex Merc combination, but Dex 3 is on the cover. I was reading a forum about how people said that AMSOIL puts out a better product and everything, and how much smoother you can feel the shifts and stuff. I couldn't find that at O'Reilly's or AutoZone, but I remember I'm cheap because I drive a Saturn and I fix it myself and everything. So if you guys are cheap like me, I think we can get away with the regular stuff. Alright guys, so I had to rig up a paper cup, or a paper funnel to get down in there, and then I got my larger funnel to get down in there because I couldn't get the line perfectly with the hole. So the dipstick here, if I can find it on the camera, it's clean, wiped off. Get 2.5 in there. Check it. Got that dropped in there all the way. Pull it on out. And we're right in the OK zone. I don't know if you can see it very well on the camera.